In 1975, Kodak invented the digital camera. They had the technology, they had the patents, they had a 10-year head start. But instead of dominating the future, they ignored it. And that mistake destroyed one of the biggest companies in America. Back then, Kodak wasn't just successful, it dominated photography. By the 1970s, Kodak controlled almost the entire film market in the United States. If you wanted to capture memories, chances are you used Kodak. Vacations, birthdays, weddings. Kodak was everywhere. The company became so iconic that the phrase Kodak moment entered everyday language. And financially, Kodak was printing money. Their business model was genius. Cameras were cheap, but film? That's where the real money came from. Then in 1975, everything changed. A young Kodak engineer named Steven Sasson built something revolutionary: the world's first digital camera. It weighed almost 9 pounds, recorded black and white images, and took over 20 seconds to capture a single photo. It looked ridiculous, but it worked. Sasson knew this invention could change photography forever. So he presented it to Kodak executives, but instead of excitement, they felt fear, because digital photography threatened Kodak's entire business. No film, no photo paper, no massive profits. Kodak had the future in its hands, but instead of leading the digital revolution, they tried to protect the past. Executives believed people would never abandon film photography. And honestly, why would they? Kodak was making billions. Digital cameras threatened everything. So instead of aggressively developing the technology, Kodak slowed down. Meanwhile, competitors moved fast. Companies like Sony, Canon, and Nikon invested heavily into digital cameras. And little by little, the future started arriving, but Kodak still believed film would survive. Then came the internet, then smartphones, and suddenly, nobody needed film anymore. People could take hundreds of digital photos instantly, for free. Kodak's entire business model collapsed. Revenue started falling, stores closed, employees lost their jobs, and the company that once dominated photography became irrelevant. In 2012, Kodak officially filed for bankruptcy. The company that invented the future was destroyed by it. Kodak's story isn't really about cameras, it's about fear. The fear of disrupting your own business. Kodak knew the future was coming. They invented it, but they were too afraid to embrace it. And that's what makes this one of the biggest business mistakes in history, because sometimes the companies that fail aren't the ones that miss the future. They're the ones that see it first and still ignore it. And Kodak isn't the only company that made this mistake. Some of the biggest brands in the world collapse the exact same way. So if you want to see more stories like this, subscribe to Brand Up.